Did you know that right now there are basically two characters running the show inside your head? One is this super fast, intuitive hero, and the other, well, that's its slow, logical sidekick. We're about to dive into how their constant tug of war shapes pretty much every single decision you make, all based on the incredible work of Daniel Kahneman.
Okay, so take a quick look at this. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. I'll bet an answer just popped right into your head, didn't it? Almost instantly. Just hold on to that answer. Don't overthink it yet. We're going to come right back to it in a sec.
All right, so if you thought the ball cost 10 cents, you are definitely not alone. That's the answer that pretty much everybody's brain screams out first. But, and you might have guessed this, it's not the right answer. The ball is actually 5 cents. Think about it for a second. If the ball is 5 cents and the bat is $1 more, the bat is $1.05. Add those together, and you get $1.10. So what was that first answer, the one that felt so obviously right? Well, that was your brain's autopilot just grabbing the wheel.
And this is where we meet the two main characters of our mental story. Kahneman calls them System 1 and System 2. System 1, that's our impulsive hero. It's your gut reaction, it's fast, automatic, and emotional. And System 2, that's the careful, deliberate sidekick. The one you have to consciously call on to do the heavy lifting. You know, the actual hard thinking.
You can feel this happening all day long. You really can. What's 2 plus 2? Boom. The answer's just there. That's pure System 1. But what about 17 times 24? Yeah, you can almost feel your brain shifting gears, right? Your pupils might even dilate. That's System 2 waking up, grumbling a bit, and having to put in some real effort. The whole point is that System 1 handles all the routine stuff, so we can save our precious mental energy for the truly tough problem. So, you might be thinking, okay, if we have this super logical System 2, what's the big deal? Well, here's the catch. Our autopilot, that fast-thinking System 1, is in charge almost all the time. And the problem is, it has some pretty serious blind spots that can lead us way off course. And this really gets to the heart of it. System 2 is, well, it's lazy. I mean, genuinely lazy. Thinking hard is work. It actually burns calories. So our brain has this default setting, this energy-saving mode, which is basically just go with whatever easy answer System 1 serves up. Don't bother to double-check. Just trust the gut. So why does this happen? It all comes down to System 1's prime directive, and it has this great acronym, YSITI. It stands for What You See Is All There Is. Basically, System 1 looks at the tiny sliver of information right in front of its face, completely ignores all the stuff it doesn't know, and then it just makes up the most coherent, believable story it possibly can from those few pieces. And this total reliance on System 1's quick, and, let's be honest, kind of dirty storytelling, it leads to these really predictable errors. You can think of them like glitches in our mental software, little traps that we all fall into over and over again.
So let's look at one of these big glitches. It's called anchoring. This is our weird tendency to get latched onto the very first piece of information we see. And that first number, that first fact, it just taints everything that comes after. Let me show you just how powerful this is. Researchers ask a group of people, is the percentage of African nations in the UN higher or lower than 10%? The average guess? Around 25%. Now they ask another group the exact same question, but they change one little thing. They ask if it's higher or lower than 65%. Suddenly, the average guess skyrockets to 45%. That first number, even though it's totally random, acts like a giant magnet, just pulling our final judgment towards it. It's wild.
Okay, here's another one, and this one is just fascinating. It's called the conjunction fallacy. This is a mental trap where our brains get completely fooled into thinking that a really detailed, specific story is somehow more likely to be true than a simple, broad one, even when that defies all logic. And that brings us to the ultimate showdown between these two systems. It's probably the most famous experiment in this entire field of study, and it's called the Linda problem. And it is the perfect demonstration of how a good story can just blow our logic circuits wide open. Okay, so I want you to meet Linda. As I read this description, just try to build a little picture of her in your head. Okay, ready? Linda is 31, single, outspoken, and very bright. Majored in philosophy, cared deeply about social justice, and went to protests. All right, you got a picture of Linda in your head? Good. Now, keeping that picture in mind, I have a question for you. Based on everything you just heard, which of these next two statements is more probable? Option 1, Linda is a bank teller. Option 2, Linda is a bank teller and is active in the feminist movement. Just go with your gut. Which one feels more likely to you? So what did you pick? Well, if you chose the second one, you're with the overwhelming majority. In study after study, a whopping 85% of people go with option 2. They just feel like that story is more probable. But here's the kicker. From a purely logical, mathematical point of view, it's impossible.
And this just perfectly exposes this core flaw in how we think. We constantly confuse what sounds plausible with what is actually probable. The story of Linda as a feminist bank teller, it just clicks, right? It feels coherent. It matches the description. Our System 1 loves that story. But it just mathematically cannot be more probable than the much, much broader category of her just being a bank teller. Period.
And if you need to see it, here's the dead simple logic. Just think of 2 circles. You've got this big circle of all bank tellers. Now, where does the circle of feminist bank tellers go? It has to go inside the bigger circle, right? It's a subset. And a small piece of a pie can never, ever be bigger than the whole pie. It's a basic law of probability.
Okay, so our brains are basically hardwired to make these mistakes. That's kind of depressing, right? So what can we possibly do about it? Well, the goal isn't to somehow defeat System 1. That intuition is incredibly powerful and useful. The real trick is learning when to trust it and, more importantly, when to say, whoa, hold on a second, and wake up that lazy System 2.
And we can actually fight back with a pretty simple 3-step plan. First, just learn to recognize the trap. Know the kinds of situations, like big financial decisions, or when you hear a really compelling story where your gut is likely to lead you astray. Second, and this is huge, just slow down. When it really matters, don't just accept that first answer. And third, seek an outside view. Get out of your own head. Look at the data, the statistics, all the boring stuff that System 1 hates. But I really want to be clear here. System 1 is not the bad guy. Your intuition isn't the enemy. When you're an expert in something, think of a firefighter who just knows a building is about to collapse, or a chess grandmaster who sees the winning move in a flash. That System 1 working is a superpower. As the great Herbert Simon put it, that kind of expert intuition, it's not magic, it's just recognition. So, I'm going to leave you with one final question to chew on. Take a moment to think about it. What is one big belief you have about the world, about yourself, about anything that might just be a really, really good story that your System 1 told you? A story so good that your lazy System 2 never even bothered to check the facts.